Okay, Paul Pierce, do you think Luka and Kyrie are the greatest offensive backcourt ever?
I'm going to take it a step further, Skip. I said this a month ago on this show, that this is the best offensive duel, not backcourt, offensive duel in NBA history. When we talk about the skill set of Kyrie, we already know probably, I mean, I've heard a number of NBA players says, I mean, he's the most skilled player we've ever seen. Luka, he just led the league in scoring. You got two guys capable of really going off for 60 points. So when I look at the numbers, look at this, Skip. Here we go, right here. Kyrie and Luka averaged 54.7 this season. You know what Shaq and Kobe averaged in 2002? 57.4 difference. KD and Steph, 52. LeBron and Wade, 51. There's one other duel that averaged more, and that was Harden and Westbrook. But if you say Harden and Luka, who you have offensively, they're equal. What about Kyrie and Westbrook? You're taking Kyrie offensively, right?
Yep.
So I truly believe this is the best scoring duel that's ever been assembled to me.
So regardless of position,
backcourt.
yeah, right.
Regardless of backcourt.
Okay.
And I said this a month ago.
All right.
I said that a month ago, and you agreed with me too. I think so. I mean, I don't know if we can play that. Can we play that? Where Skip agreed when I said this?
Yeah,
is it up there?
Got some video? I
think we're watching the best scoring duel in NBA history.
I agree.
I mean, when you see what Luka's doing, we already know who Kyrie is, probably the greatest one-on-one player. If you have a one-on-one competition, I'm taking Kyrie. There it is.
So he played in the NBA. I just watched it.
You know it.
No, I know it, but I'm just saying it's hard to argue with somebody who actually was on the court shooting against these dudes. But I'm gonna argue with him because first of all, it was backcourt. It wasn't best scoring duel.
I said scoring duel, but regardless of backcourt.
But when you look at it, I'm just gonna stay with the backcourt because that's what.
Well, if you're the best scoring duel.
But that's what Van Gundy said, backcourt, right?
If you're the best scoring duel, you're clearly the best scoring backcourt.
Now, are we looking at finished product in terms of the seasons or what ifs, all of those sort of things? Because Kyrie and James Harden in Brooklyn could have been crazy. It could have been crazy if they'd have stayed together. It didn't work. It didn't work out that way. But when you start to think about it, Steph and Klay, that's the backcourt. You got one dude that can play defense and can shoot the lights out.
He only said offensive.
No, I understand. I understand.
Right.
Shoot the lights out, Klay. Well, and then obviously we know what Steph is, right? Yeah. And then when you talk about championships, I add that in there too. I'm always gonna look for that. They finished the deal with championships. Now you go to Chris Paul and James Harden in Houston. That backcourt was lethal, right? I mean, they were lethal in terms of scoring. Just in the playoffs, they averaged 50, in 2018, they averaged 50 points a game. Then when you go to another backcourt in Kobe and Derek Fisher in 2001, when they together they had 5 rings. No, I'm talking about, he only talking about scoring though, right?
Best offensive backcourt ever.
But I'm just saying, when you look at that and they scoring, them dudes average 45 in the playoffs, right? So you can go down, you can keep going on and on. It's hard. You go back to Steph and Klay. Now, Luka and Kyrie, obviously, scoring-wise, they were amazing last night. But then when you talk about the history, how could you not think about Klay and Steph? How could you just not?
Well, you should, yeah.
That should be the number one uno.
All right, let's just break them down individually. All right, offensively, Luka or Steph as a scorer?
As a scorer, that's the key. Not as a shooter. He's the greatest shooter ever.
Scorer.
Scoring the basketball.
He'd be scoring the basketball too, though.
Yeah, but I'm saying, who would you take as a scorer? Luka? I mean,
I gotta add in the 3 point.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm gonna say. Let's just say I don't know, and it's about even.
Paul, you gotta add in the shooting from deep because that's part of scoring.
I don't know. The way Luka scores and the way Steph scores is 2 different ways. But Luka scores in all kind of ways, so it kind of balanced it. You could kind of balance them 2 out. But now I go to Klay and Kyrie. As a scorer, who you take? You probably gonna take Kyrie. Let's just be.
I'm probably gonna take Kyrie as a
So
scorer.
now I put those two together. They even out. Now it's not even. When you try to balance it out.
Stretch though, about a 5-year stretch though, Clay, you could. It's just hard, man.
But when just break it down individually, and then you'll come up with your answer.
You're not there.
I'm not there yet. Because I can't get the finished product out of my mind.
Okay.
And that's getting them rings.
So the clip you showed, when I agreed with you, I didn't really understand your definition. I thought you meant the two guard duo, the two backcourt.
Mm-hmm.
When I think of Shaq and Kobe at their greatest, at their most dominant, it's hard for me to get past those two. If you're going to go duo, if you're going to go positionless, if you're going to throw both of them into the mix, man, those teams in 2001, 2002, I'd watch them just destroy my Spurs. Because Shaquille O'Neal was, it was hard to watch. It was brutal basketball, but it was the greatest offensive force I ever saw was Shaquille O'Neal, to where he was unrefereeable. I didn't know if it was a block or a charge. I didn't know. It's like he just played football and nobody could stop him. Mm-hmm. And then Kobe, as a complimentary shooter, it's just hard to stop those two. And that's why they did what they did for their dynastic stretch. But if we can keep it just to Van Gundy's comment, offensive backcourt, then I'm there.
Offensive backcourt.
Okay,
I think it's no question.
I'm with Paul. If you make me take Luka or Steph's the greatest shooter ever, and Clay's right there, because Clay has had some.
But shooting is part of scoring.
Okay, but,
absolutely.
But the shooting is not dependable, because I can show you a bunch of games and a bunch of fourth quarters when Steph disappeared because he couldn't make a three.
And I can show you a bunch of games in fourth quarters when Luka disappeared.
He doesn't disappear, though. He gets better as the game goes on. But the point is, would I take Luka as a pure scorer of the basketball? He's a wizard, man.
Yeah.
I take him just a touch. I give him a slight edge over Steph. Okay. And then Kyrie versus Clay, it ain't even close. I mean, it's Kyrie. Right. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give you that. Now, I got to do one caveat here. If we bring Jordan into the conversation, the problem is he doesn't have a running mate. He's by himself, right?
That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Like, you put Kobe.
They scored 40 when him and Ron Harper was together. But that was in the playoffs. They averaged about 40 together.
They did.
Yeah, Jordan averaged 30 of it.
And seriously, the Bulls played positionless basketball because they didn't have a point guard. The dynastic Bulls did not have an orchestrator. It was kind of Jordan doing it all. The offense ran through Michael. Yeah. So the point was, you could argue that he and Scottie were the backcourt. You could make a case even though. Okay, so if you take those two, if you give me Jordan and anybody, heck, give me Jordan and Steve Kerr, Jordan and John Paxson, I'm probably going to take Jordan over anybody just because he's the biggest nuclear weapon who ever walked, right? Yeah. Okay, but if we just do duos, if we do this, Stan Van Gundy made a good point. Yeah. It's hard to argue, to me, Steph and Clay over these two. And maybe I'm prisoner of last night's moment because you got to see the two nuclear weapons in all their glory.
But you also go back to the OKC series in the first couple games, we wasn't having this conversation. Yeah. Honestly, so you are a prisoner of the moment because when Kyrie was scoring 6 and 9 and 6.
He had a couple of 9s.
Yeah, but based off what they've done during the regular season. But Kyrie averaged 25, he averaged 35.
Yeah.
I wish Van Gundy probably would have gave a little more context in terms of we talking about regular season or we talking about playoffs.
We just talking about as a duel offensively. We're talking about, we're not looking at the numbers. We're not looking at the numbers of what they're doing, like what Kyrie did in the last playoff series. We're just look at them individually over the course of their career. Now you put these two together and say, oh, there's not a better offensive backcourt that you could put together in NBA history or think of that could score as good as these two.
Yeah, Keyshawn, I know it's still hard to wrap your head completely around Luka, but he's doing this a different way than anybody's ever done it. He's a wizard, as Kyrie is with the basketball, with his handles and his quickness and his spin and his gymnastics and his midair, the athleticism. But Luka doesn't have any of that. If he gets 1 foot in the lane, you're cooked, man, because he can step back on you. He can he can move you wherever he wants to move you. He can orchestrate everything in a way that I've never seen anybody do before, to control a basketball game. Am I right?
You know who Luka's behind in the scoring department per average in playoff history? You know who he's behind? Michael Jordan. He's right behind Michael Jordan. We're talking about playoff average. He's right behind Michael Jordan.
I would say, I would say, you say you never seen it done before, Skip. Magic used to do some of that too, though.
Yeah, he just wasn't the scorer.
He wasn't a scorer, but he scored. No, but he scored.
He wouldn't.
Magic could give you 30, and you wouldn't even. You'll look up and be like, "Damn, Magic got 30."
Well, because he's 6'9" and physical. And this kid's 6'7". Yeah.
So he would still give you some of that, you know, passing the ball, assist, rebounding, scoring, giving you, knocking down, you know, whatever, 22, because he didn't need to go for 35 every night.
Yeah. One night at Boston Garden, I was sitting in the front row press row, and I watched Magic Johnson make a little baby skyhook to win the game. Do you remember
was at that game, Skip?
I was there.
Oh, with the runner?
He was at that game, huh?
You didn't see Skip with the handlebar mustache?
Did he had the handlebar.
No facial hair for me. All right. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.